Now, Preeya, we're going to take our pies to the next level. Yours was fantastic. I love it. What a great entree pie. But if you really want some satisfaction and lots of flavour in there and you want a main course pie that's going to feed the whole family, my chicken and mushroom pie is a winner every single time. And you'll work that out very, very soon. It starts, of course, with some chicken thighs. These are skinless, boneless chicken thighs. Nice and easy. Turn them out onto your chopping board and then you just run the knife straight through it like this. So you cut them in half. So you've got nice, small pieces. Now, I like to season my chicken up with plenty of salt and pepper. On they go. And while you're there, Preeya, would you like to take those mushrooms and cut them up into lovely pieces? I've got some lovely samiji mushrooms, king brown mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms and oyster mushrooms, because I know that's the way I'm going to take you on. I just go putting all my favourite lovely ingredients that I know I love, I know you're going to love, I know my family loves.
And you've got a really beautiful array, so I'm a little bit jealous, but that's okay. That's okay.
You should be excited and happy for my win, my championship win of the best pie in the entire world. Now, the chicken has been seasoned, salt and pepper on there. It's been chopped into little pieces. Into the pan it goes. And you want a nice hot pan. That's going to start sizzling any second now. There we go. Take it up to a little bit hotter. That's going to start browning. You can hear that starting to sizzle.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
Chicken thighs for a pie?
Not only does it rhyme, thigh and pie, but it also is a great combination because I want a meat that's going to hold up. And the chicken thigh is a little bit firmer. So I want the thighs to hold up to it, but they also hold a lot of moisture. They're not moister than the breast.
Yes.
The breast, if you cook it in a pie, tends to dry out. Now, I'm also adding some bacon, which is a surefire way of making everything tasty. Now, I've got some garlic cloves here. And what I do with the garlic cloves, I'm just going to cut them in half because the mixture's going to cook for about 45 minutes and all the vegetables will have plenty of time to be...
softened.
Exactly. So yours was really quick. You don't want to overcook the fish. I want to make sure that my chicken thighs are nice and tender. I also cut my veggies into nice, larger pieces. So I've got celery there. I've got leeks, which give it a lovely sweetness. There's lots and lots of things you can do with a leek. And the thing I love about a leek is it is really sweet and tasty, but you also need to make sure that if you are using leeks, that you wash them really well.
Yes, I know how to wash them, Richo.
Do you grow them in your backyard?
Well, I have grown leeks at the farm.
Okay.
Are we having a leek off?
We can leek off any time you want. Tell me about washing.
Well, you have to cut the midline and wash in the inside because the dirt gets on the inside. So my 5-year-old knows that.
You have to wash them a few times,
Yes,
you know, if there's a lot of dirt in
do.
them. Really, really important. Now, you can see my chicken is browning off nicely, and I'm using my 2-pan method here. If you're using 1 pan, you would take the chicken out and then keep going with your veggies. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you how I put this together. You can throw them into what we call a dry pan. So there's nothing in there. The garlic, the veggies all go in here. Now that I've got them in here, I'm in control. I can pour some extra virgin olive oil and you can see they'll start to fry and sizzle.
This is a beautiful amount of rainbows. I've got to say.
Now, the mushrooms, I'm going to grab all of these mushrooms over here. In the mushrooms go into my chicken and my bacon. I'll just put a little sprinkle of salt onto the mushrooms and a good twist of pepper as well, and then stir that around. As they cook, they actually expel a little bit of moisture as well, so all those juices come together beautifully. Now, we like to have some butter in here, and I'll cut that in half again because I'll put 1 block in here. You know, butter makes everything taste good, and another block in there to make it even more luscious. Now, at this stage here, I've got some port and some red wine. I pop that in here. That will help to reduce and give it more flavour. I'll put some red wine in this one. It comes to the boil straight away. And I've got some parsley, half in here, half in there, and we can see it coming together beautifully. If you can pass me some stock over there.
Absolutely.
Look at that, wilting down beautifully. So a little bit of stock in here and some stock in to the chicken and mushrooms as well. Now, what I'm going to do is give that a bit of a toss around. By putting the liquid in here, I've taken all the bits of crusty bits off there, all the flavour from the vegetables off the bottom of the pan, and I pour them straight over the top of this pan here. Now, I want my chicken to be cooked all the way through and be really nice and tender. So I'm going to leave this on the stove here, simmering away until that chicken is nice and tender, about 40 minutes or so, nice and gently, and then we'll be able to thicken it up, put some peas in it, put the pastry on the top, and get it in the oven. Oh, I can't wait for this one. Preeya, have a smell of that.
It smells glorious. I'm a bit jealous it's not mine, but anyway.
Now, the most important thing for me is when we're cooking meat, because it doesn't take very long to cook the pastry in the oven, you need to make sure the meat is nice and tender. I pull that apart. You can see it's perfectly cooked. And I know because it's the thigh, it's going to be moist and juicy and everything else. And you'll also notice that this is quite thin, so we need to thicken the sauce up, just like you did. I like to use corn flour. So I've mixed some corn flour with some water, and then while that's simmering, you can see it's starting to thicken up. Now, depending on the amount of liquid in the pot will depend on the amount of corn flour you add in there. I'll just add a little bit more corn flour, and that helps to make it a nice, thick pie, which is exactly what we want.
That's just corn flour and water.
Corn flour and water. You can use corn flour and stock if you want, corn flour and milk if you want. Now, I'll turn that off because the corn flour is cooked all the way through. I'm going to throw in some extra love, some fresh peas, because we need lots of vegetables in our diet.
We do.
And I know that if I'm going to take you on, I need to make sure there's lots of veggies in here. Stir those peas in. You can see that's at the perfect consistency. I'll grab that spoon out of there, and then, Preeya, I'm going to pour this into my pie dish like that. Oh, the perfect amount, all the way up to the top. Now, we're going to put some pastry on here, and I've got some store-bought puff pastry. I make my own, but if you buy it from the store like this stuff, they all work beautifully. Take it out of the freezer, let it come up to room temperature. Another little pro tip, Preeya, is on the back here is some plastic, which helps it to stop from sticking. So do make sure if you're using store-bought pastry, take the plastic off.
Take the plastic off. You don't need that. You don't need it.
And then the thing that I like to do is with a good sharp knife, I'm going to cut some nice long strips. You can see I've just torn the corner of it. Don't worry about that. Nice long strips like this. And the next part...
I feel nervous about touching your pastry, Richo.
And then I'm just going to get the pastry and lay it across like this all the way around. We're going to do something a little bit wacky.
Oh, it's fancy.
Fancy pantsy. Well, we're in a competition here. We're trying to make the best pie. Well, I'm making the best pie. I'm not trying at all. I'm just making something really delicious and tasty. And I just lay it across like that. Plenty of pastry on there because I love pastry. Pastry is in so many of my favourite dishes. So there we go.
I'm trying to gently steer you off track here by cutting your pastry a bit wonky.
Well, that's why I've gone for a wonky top like this. So your wonky cuts will actually make my pie that much better. There we go. Now, egg wash there, if you can brush it like you stole it, lots of egg wash on there. Now, the egg wash is great. It gives it a shine, makes it nice and glossy, gives it that really golden brown colour on the outside of it. If you want, you can have pastry hanging off the side, whatever you want to do. But for me, a chicken mushroom pie with bacon, port and peas in it, with pastry that's brushed with egg white, baked in the oven at 225 degrees Celsius. Winner, winner. Chicken pie dinner.
It works as well.
Have a look at that, Preeya.
It does look very good. It pains me in my soul to admit this, but holy moly, it does look good.
It looks like a winner, doesn't it?
Not a winner, I wouldn't go that far. It's got a lot of butter in it.
Oh, that's what gives it flavour. That's what it's all about. Lovely vegetables in there, the chicken is in there as well, the peas are in there, and then that lovely piece of pastry over the top there like that to make it look luscious and delicious. And I saw you threw the little peluche of parsley on the side, so I'm going to meet you...
He's going to do the same thing. Let's put this in the record that it's copying.
I'm going to meet you halfway with a lovely peluche of parsley. What a cracker of a dish. Lovely crispy pastry, golden brown, lots of juicy flavoured chicken on the inside. I've got bacon in there, butter in there. You can imagine this thing sitting on the table and everyone just in awe. They don't want to eat it. It just looks and smells so good.
Look, it is delicious, but there is a lot of butter in there. And it's not something you would probably eat every day because of the amount of butter. But having said that, I'll acknowledge the veggie content. I'll also acknowledge, though, that you've used the pastry only as the topping. You haven't gone the whole way around, which is also a little bit of a win. It's delicious, but it is very butter heavy.
I didn't hear anything past delicious. What a great pie. I think it's a cracker. This is sometimes food, as we know. That's what it's all about, eating really nice, tasty ingredients. Maybe not every day, but you'd have to. Maybe every second day.